Hey, Dr. Reese. Well, I just finished making this video here that I posted in the announcements, and it's a review for the practical. And you know, this video I'm making now will be above it. It's gonna be called the wrap up video, right? So what I want to do is uh, just give you a rough idea now of kind of what to expect with total points. Go over that real quick, you know. And so this will probably be the last video I make, and I'll still continue to give you some feedback. I think I'm going to make another audio feedback probably this Sunday, which is tomorrow. It's August the 5th today. And so but in this video, right, I just want to make clear what this is, right? The practical review is something all this information when I do a review in my micro lab, I cover this stuff. So if you don't have me for lab, then this might be really helpful to watch. So I want everybody to kind of like be on a level playing field. That's the rationale. So watch this video. It's worth it. It'll help you with the adjuncts when they do they'll give you the same question more or less. It depends on sometimes microscopes are used and aren't used, so things change from practical to practical. But the way they organize the practical might be different than the way I do it. I like to give people at least go through all the stations for 2 minutes first, or about 2 minutes, and then that gives everybody an opportunity to get to every station and answer all their questions. And if they're sure about it, they probably have it can answer all the 100 questions. And but if they're blank, and it keeps people from staying at a station for too long, and people not being able to get there. And it also keeps you see how with 100 questions you have to manage your time somewhat. So anyway, watch that. I noticed, see, this is the week 6 is the last week. I posted this one maybe a week early, but the reason I do is so that you can get everything done right now. July 30th, I think, exam 4 opened, and basically everything that needed to be completed before the end of the semester was open. So you could, and some people have completed exam 4 at this point. I looked, and that's good. Get it all done, right? All they have to worry about now is the practical. But if you want to wait till after the practical, for exam 4, that's fine. I would get it. Exam 3 is due tomorrow. Don't miss anything. It's important to get them all done on purpose, on time. I think you have another day to do a course eval. And then this was my last update video. So tomorrow I'll start grading the assignments and giving you feedback for that as well. There's 2 assignments due tomorrow, but I'll probably give feedback for one of them. I'm not sure if it'll be assignment 4 or 5, but I'll make an announcement about it. So when you're done with a practical, and at this point, if you needed to redo or make up PMPs, it should be done, right? Be sure you complete them. And Valor and Miss Nelson's told me that she's going to grade the practicals in a timely manner. So once that's done, I'll have mine done the day of the practical. It might be 3 or 4 hours after the practical, it depends. But once you see all your total points, and there's an area in the grade book for let's see, the last item. Now I have I can enter what your lab points are. And then what I might do is give, I think my policy this semester is if you've missed one lab, you get, or if you missed no labs, you get 10 bonus points. And if you miss one lab, you get 5 bonus points. And if you missed more than one lab, you get 0 points. So that, I think that's how I'm going to do that. And I'll ask Valerie to do that. You know, tell me who's missed more than 2 or 1, you know, that kind of thing. So anyway, I'll be doing that. And then now in the class grade book, you know, there's a spot for your, let's see, let's go to grades, just so I don't show everybody's. And I go to manage. There's a spot, you know, here's the assignment 1, the grades you got for that, and then you have all the section quizzes, which you got at 10 points, and then the 4 exams are listed, then the flyer, right, which is due on the 6th, so you have Sunday, tomorrow they're due. Then there's lab points. So I'll enter what your lab points are in this grade book, and then the computer adds up all the points you've earned in the class and those points. It doesn't automatically put what that is, the total is here under total points for lecture and lab. Okay, so under total points, I have to put that in manually. So that could change, you know, if you take a quiz, and until I go in and change it myself, then you won't see that, all right? But don't worry. And then the other thing I wanted to let you know is once you've taken exam 4, you have everything done for the class and the lab, and then, you know, you've basically earned all the points, then next to the total points, whatever that might be, I'll put a letter grade so that you know, because if you're close to an A, you know, like say you have 896 points, right? That's okay. You know, you don't need those 4 points for an A. I'll give you an A at that point. At some point though, I gotta, you know, stop doing that. So anyway, that's that. So it can, the other thing I want to make it clear is it is useful, right? You know, before you take exam 4, if you haven't, and you know, you see what your total points are, you kind of know what you need for exam 4, right? That's kind of the idea doing this. Or if you haven't completed the section quizzes or the assignment, right? Because the last assignment's worth 15 points. You could add that to it if it's not included in those total points that I have there at that point. And then, you know, but if you do complete that and say a couple of quizzes, you're not going to see a change in those total points until I notice it, right? And I'll probably update this at that, you know, at the end of the semester 2 or 3 times a day, you know. So I look at it, and but I just want you to be aware of that's how we determine your grade, right? Because, you know, the lab instructors do not turn in grades for labs. That's not how it works, right? One single grade is given to the records, and that is your grade for lab and lecture, right? You get 3 credits for lecture, 1 credit for lab. That grade is the same for most of those courses in our department, right? There's like one course where that doesn't apply. There might be a couple of courses where that doesn't apply when there's a lab, but you know, in those courses, you don't have to take the lab and the class simultaneously. You can take them in different semesters as well. So hopefully, you know, you complete the assignments. I know I need to grade 4 and 5. I'll start doing that either today or tomorrow. Then assignment 6 is the last. The flyer assignment, I got a couple questions. I did add, to make it a little more clear, I hope, I put in an example of a flyer. Right, this is so, you know, in case you're not quite sure what that means, right? The best flyers have, you know, the 220 words, covers information about the topic they've picked or the bacteria or the disease. And, it doesn't have to be fluffy wraparound text, right? Just put the information there, make sure it's 220 words. There's 2 figures at the bottom. If, you want it to be on 1 page, right? If it's 2, 3 pages, I deduct points, right? If you don't follow the instructions, that's what the instructions say, 1 page. It says 2 files. Well, you need 1 file that contains this information, your flyer, and then you need 1 file where your references are listed, right? You'll get a Turnitin score for both, right? The references will have a real high Turnitin score, right? Because it's not original, right? But if you mix those in with your flyer, then the originality score goes up, right? So if they're separate, it leaves the word count out of as well. And when I open the file, the Word document application needs to tell me what your word count is, not you, right? So you need to use, for the flyer, a Word application like Microsoft Word that generates a docx file, not a pages file, and it'll have a word count, right? And so if I don't have it, I don't grade it. I'll just say, submit something that gives me a word count. That's how that works. Okay, so you'll see that. The other thing I look for is like this is rabies is caused by a virus. So there's no need to italicize that, right? But if that was the genus of a bacteria, if you didn't italicize it, I would deduct 3 or 4 points. It depends. So keep that in mind, right? Genus and species are italicized in your flyers if it's a bacteria causing the issue, or if it's a parasite. Even parasites, malaria is caused by Plasmodium falciparum. That's the genus and species. That should be italicized. So there are other organisms, but not viruses. You don't need to, right? They're not living organisms. Is another way of thinking of it. So yeah, that's the flyer. So anyway, hopefully this is helpful. I just wanted to kind of this is sort of like I consider this a wrap-up video. And thanks for taking my class. I appreciate that. And good luck with whatever you end up doing.